Whenever you get angry, you think, am I right in getting angry? People tell me, Swamiji, how to overcome anger. I think you have to get rid of your anger. That means you have to hate your hatred. The man who gets angry, he doesn't like it himself. Others around, they also don't like it. Then why should you have something which neither you like nor the others like? We should understand that irritability, it happens, but it's never approved by anybody. So there must be an introspectional process which is instituted in us and which should remain constant. Jnanamuttamam tena atyandika samsara dukkhanasho. Tena, by that, atyandika samsara dukkhanashaha. Atyandika means final, ultimate. Samsara dukkhanashaha. The miseries and agitations produced by the world. Now, Srimad Bhagavata is a very beautiful, interesting text. At least you can get a sample of Srimad Bhagavatam from the book that we have translated into English this time. Krishna has 24 teachers. It is about 4 chapters of Krishna's dialogue with Uddhava. You should see how Krishna presents the truth. He very clearly says, what does he say? Unless you take up the process of introspection, inquiry into, you will not be able to find the truth. Purushatve cha mam dhiraah sankhya yoga visharadaah vistaram prapashyandi sarva shakti upabrimhidam. Shall I explain this verse for you? See, he speaks, I created a number of bodies. Listen to me very carefully. I created a number of bodies. And he describes them as single-legged, two-legged, three-legged, four-legged, multi-legged and no-legged. When I created all these bodies, mind you, the creation or the creatures, they differ only bodily. The presence inside which created the bodies is the same in the human and in the ant. There is no difference in the inner presence. Only in the bodily instruments there are differences. I was not happy. Then I created the human body. When I created the human body, I was happy and fulfilled. You know why? Purushatve. In the human body, mam dhiraah, they are able to penetrate into, discover and realize me. Purushatve cha mam dhiraah. Who will succeed and who make this discovery? Dhiraah, the wise people, the intelligent people, who think that the human life is not for eating, sleeping and multiplying. The human life is meant for knowledge. It is meant for going into the inner hemisphere of creation, the inner domain. The wise people, Purushatve cha mam dhiraah sankhya yoga visharadaah. They have to become experts, visharada, very clever and very intelligent, qualified. Where? Sankhya yoga visharadaah. They have to become very clever and experts in Sankhya and Yoga. You know what is meant by Sankhya? Sankhya is actually given, Sankhya, the name is given to the process of Tattva Vichara. We generally identify it with Kapila's Sankhya Yoga. The world is born. How is this world born? We are all living upon the earth. The earth is a solid substance. As a solid substance, it is much heavier and denser than air. But the earth is surrounded by air. If the earth is surrounded by air, what is the support of the earth? It is after all a planet, a sphere. The sphere is surrounded by air. So what is supporting this earth? Air cannot support it. And beyond the air, there is emptiness, there is shunya, the shunyakasha. So everything seems to be hovering in the shunyakasha. The shunyakasha is infinitely more than the planets and the heavenly bodies in space. Now you tell me, from where what would have come? All these heavenly bodies hovering in the sky must have come from the Shunyakasha. Can the Shunyakasha produce these bodies? So the Sankhya people started thinking. Their laboratory was their own body. They did not have a telescope. They did not have a microscope. They never wanted also one. Only by a process of employing their intelligence, they inquired into, and found out there is something called the undifferentiated source, the Avyakta or the Avyakrita. It is a state of unmanifestation, unmanifestedness. Nothing is there, everything is indistinct. From that indistinctness, all the things came to be. And how was the evolution? From the subtle into the gross. Subtle into the gross. There was space, then there was something called energy, fire, and then came air, then came water, and finally came the solid substance, earth. Now this is a process of evolution, condensation. When the condensed material start getting rarefied, becoming subtler, then the solid substance will become fluid. The fluid will become gaseous. The gaseous will become further energy, and the energy and everything will disappear and ultimately will become indistinct space. So they made a process. This is called the Sankhya Yoga. In the Sankhya Yoga, the only faculty that works in you is our intelligence. We see. See, any one of you can think, we are all on this earth, but the earth is surrounded by air. How can air support the earth? So there is something beyond these things. So they started thinking. Now all this thinking was facilitated only by their own experience. And what are these experiences? Mind you, it is not experiences of the waking state or wakefulness alone. We have three basic states. I don't know whether you find it interesting. For every experimentation that you are doing, even for the scientists, the basis is ourselves. Our body, our senses, our mind, our intelligence, our ego, and the beyond. It is with these that we conduct all experiments. In Europe, they are going into the particle, God particle. I sometimes wonder, is God a particle or an aggregate? Can God be a particle? What is this particle? And the particle is going to be visible before them. So between the particle perceived and the perceiving scientist, you tell me which or who is fundamental? The particle perceived or the scientist who perceives? Now the perceiving personality is what Sankhya finally inquired into. So they said, wakefulness is there. Only when you wake up, the world of objects comes to be. In the same manner as you perceive the world, you stop your perception and go to sleep. And in sleep you are absolutely indistinct. Even now, nobody is able to say what is sleeping. Because you cannot say, I am sleeping. You can only say, I slept. You can say, I am wakeful. You cannot say, I am dreaming and I am sleeping. When you wake up from sleep, you are not asleep. When you are wakeful, you are currently in the wakefulness. So the sleep, the entire wakefulness is wiped off and you go to sleep. So in the sleep you are avyakta, indistinct. When you wake up, you become distinct. So from the indistinct state, the emergence into the distinctness, similarly vice versa, both are taking place within us. The same applies to the universe also. So unless you are an expert in vichara, applying your intelligence, Sankhya Yoga Visharadaha. What is meant by yoga? The word yoga means what? Unifying, amalgamating, merging, blending one thing with another. Yujyate anena iti yoga. One has to become united with the another. This kind of one thing getting united with the other, where is it possible? Can two physical things be united? Huh? No, it cannot be done. If at all there is anything called yoga, one fused into the other, it can only be in the inner mind level. Something that I am explaining very uniquely, you may not hear it anywhere else. If there is anything called merger, one merges into the other. You see, you pour 1 liter of milk is there, pour another liter of water. The two are apparently merged, but you will find there is a quantitative increase. Is it not? Huh? That is not fusion. A, when fused into B, there should be no change in B at all. It should be completely fused, and they should remain the same. That is called fusion. Such fusion, where is it possible? Only inside the body, in the mind level. And what can be fused into what? What can be fused into what? Thought. Thought can be fused into thinking. Thinking can be fused into thinker. And the thinker can be fused into a pre-thinking entity. So many thoughts are appearing within you. Is anything remains separately there? Huh? Why are you keeping quiet? When I speak to you about your daily experience, you are not responding. This is why you are not experts in Sankhya. Kuch nahi milega. See, so many thoughts are arising within your body. Can you extract one thought and show it to me? Here it is. What about your emotions? What about your knowledge? You say infinity. Can you show it for me? You say zero. Show it to me. What is zero? Nothing. What is nothing? See, so many ideas are coming up in the mind. No idea remains separately from the mind. All the ideas are there for us to experience, feel and know about. But by no idea, there is an addition within us. And when the ideas disappear, there is a merger taking place. There is no quantitative increase or otherwise. So the yoga, the actual yoga, unification is possible only within our body in the sphere of consciousness. So you must be able to dissolve your thinking process. You must be able to dissolve the thinking process. Fuse all the thoughts into the one thinker, and let the thinker also be fused into the pre-thinker entity, as it happens in sleep. In sleep, everything is fused into yourself. What will you say after waking up? I slept. What? I slept. Who slept? I slept. When you slept, what happened? Are? The entire wakefulness, where did it go? थोड़ा बोलिए ना, सोचिए ना. You were wakeful, no? And you felt so much possessive about many things. I have a makan, a building. I have a car. I have a family. I have an office. I am an industrialist. So many things were there. You, along with all those things, completely fused into somewhere. And you say, what happened to your body? Merged. What happened to your mind? Merged. What happened to the world perception? Merged. Where they merged? Huh? If you were wakeful and you were seeing the world, are you following me? I don't think. I was seeing the world, and the world was plural world, manifold world. All this manifoldness of the world, and the root cause, namely myself, my body, my mind, my intelligence, my ego, everything, what happened? I slept. So a yoga or yoga is possible only within yourself. So you must be able to employ your intelligence and penetrate into the regions of existence, the graduated existence, then the graduated dissolution, everything, and ultimately dissolve the inner processes. If you are experts in both, he says, Purushatve cha mam dhiraah Sankhya yoga visharadaah Avistaram prapashyanti. I am wondering, when are our people going to understand these statements? Avistaram prapashyanti. At least you say this. Avistaram prapashyanti sarvashakti upabrimhitam. They are able to understand me in all my infinitude. Avistaram. See, we are sitting in an octagonal hall of Center for Inner Resources Development. When I look around, I find so many things. My vision goes further beyond. A number of trees are there. If you come out and look at, you will find the infinite sky. Mind you, all these things are your experience. What? The sleeping eye, as I was, when I got up, an expanse I experienced. In sleep I experienced nothing. And from that zero level, now I am going to have an infinitude. This infinitude is perceived within you as an extension of the I in you. Other than your experience of infinitude, is there any other infinitude available or possible? Infinitude or infinity itself is a concept of your mind. So they see me in the Purushatva, in the human body, Vistara, as infinitely extensive, Sarva Shakti Upabrimhidam. This is where you will still fail to understand what I say, but I want you to succeed. Sarva Shakti Upabrimhidam. Do you know what are your powers? Every power known in this world is a power of the human. Who invented electricity? Elephant, jackal, tiger, or rhinoceros? Huh? What is electricity? Electricity becomes electricity only in front of the human being. Magnetism becomes magnetism only in the apprehension or comprehension of the human being. Every power is cognized, recognized, or apprehended by the human. So if all the powers we have found and we are employing them, what should be the extent of power that you have who employs these powers? I don't know whether you understand what I say. समझ लेते हैं क्या? थोड़ा बोलिए ना. You can only judge you as a मालिक. हमारे पास 10 एकरों की जमीन है, मालिक. Why don't you understand that you have infinite powers? Every form of energy, everything is proceeding from ourselves. If electricity is there, it is before us and we are using it. Magnetism, we are using it. Light, we are using. That the sun is luminous is a verdict by us. Is there any energy not referred to by the human being? Even if there is energy, of what consequence is it? So all the powers, they proceed from the human, and that too not from his body, from his inside. So in the Purushatva, in the human body, they are able to go into my nature, my extensiveness, my potential, my infinitude. And what is the process they employ for it? Sankhya and Yoga. Sankhya means introspection. an exercise done by the intelligence. And yoga is the process and the art of dissolving everything in your mind as in sleep. There is no action or a reaction which we cannot dissolve in our mind, which you cannot dissolve in your mind. There is no reaction, no reaction. We are fuming. For what purpose? I don't know. Everything that you have ultimately gives you joy and satisfaction. And the joy and satisfaction are mental, emotional. Being an emotion, it belongs to the mind. And every happiness is ultimately mental. Why don't you resort to your mind to generate and preserve the happiness in its full measure, all by itself, without any linkage with the objects? That is what the knowers of truth get. Instead of running about, they close their eyes. You know, the moment you close your eyes, you will start feeling the radiation from the body. From the body it is seemingly or feelingly heat. But the source of the heat is the blissful consciousness. If you can go 1 millimeter behind the heat radiation, you will find the spiritual radiance. It is so simple and easy. Because it's simple and easy, we are not able to get it. Purushatve cha mam dhiraah Sankhya yoga visharadaah Avistaram prapashyanti Sarvashaktyupa brahmidam. This is how Krishna begins his dialogue with Uddhava. So he says, you have to employ your intelligence. Then only you will be able to get over the delusional clinging to your body and bodily properties and relationship. You will be able to leave Dwaraka before I leave, and Dwaraka is taken over by the sea. After listening to Krishna, Uddhava simply started. Are you hearing me? Huh? The same Uddhava who said, I cannot keep away from your lotus feet even for half a second. Cryingly and weepingly, he decided to leave. He only asked for the sandals of Krishna. First of all, he prostrated before Krishna, drenched his feet with his tears, got up, asked for the chappals, put them on his head, and he was walking, turning back, and disappeared. Only after 3 hours of talk, he listened to. See, what a beautiful narration these things are. You should appreciate them. Why don't you spend some time? You read the book. Krishna has 24 teachers. He is quoting an Avadhuta, a spiritual hippie. Krishna's own predecessor, Yadu Chakravarti. The moment he saw this wonderful Avadhuta, the spiritual hippie, as a Maharaja, he understood his greatness. He stopped his chariot, got down, fell at his feet, and he was asking him, while all people are being pushed and pulled by the world thrills, the world attractions, you seem to be like a huge tusker, immersed in Ganges water, very cool and comfortable, no heat at all for you. How is it that you gain this stability, this withdrawal, this composure? I would like to know. Then he started narrating. I have learned from 24 sources. Nothing or none spoke to me. My own intelligence started reflecting upon whatever I saw or whatever I heard, and then I got this kind of an illumination. And 24 teachers are presented by the Avadhuta, which Sri Krishna himself presents before Uddhava, the initial part of his instruction. and just see. You know, a number of non-Hindus like this 24 teacher dialogue. So many people. My telecast is in Malayalam. You know, the people are saying, we have heard Bhagavatam so many times. Saptahams also we have heard. But we never knew that Srimad Bhagavatam is a text like this. 80% of Srimad Bhagavatam is Vedanta and Vedanta alone. 80%. But it is presented in a very beautiful manner, linked with devotion. So when I speak about Vichara, please understand it very well. You have the intelligence, you are using it, but only to become a professional expert, a family expert, a household expert. Use it spiritually and get the greatest glory that is earmarked for the human life.